Hey guys, this is Caleb with DSLR Video Shooter, and today we're going to talk about everything you need to know about Sony NP-F batteries and why they're one of the most versatile batteries around. A lot of you have asked questions about these batteries. What's the differences between the different types? And today I'm going to clear up all of that and talk about how you could potentially use just these batteries for everything in your video kit. Sony NP-F batteries are used for almost everything. You can find them on cameras, monitors, lights, and much more. One of the more confusing things is the sizes and options for these batteries. There's a huge list of different sizes, types, and the mounts that they use. But when looking for these, you want to make sure it is a Sony NP-F battery, and then you choose the size and capacity. And out of that huge list of batteries, there are a few really popular ones that I would recommend sticking with. First is the Sony NP-F 550. It's about the thickness of a Canon LPE6 and the Sony FW50, so it's very low profile. Great for using with cameras because it doesn't add a lot of weight or size. The next most popular size is the NP-F 750 or 770. So here I have a 550. Right next to it, you can kind of see the size difference there. A little bigger, obviously. This is kind of a medium size. Going to have a larger capacity, which we'll talk about here in a second. And it's a perfect all-arounder because it's a lot of juice if you need to power a light for a long time, but at the same time, it's not massive. And then the final size I recommend is the 970. So here I have it next to the 750. And here it is next to the 550. So much larger battery, going to have more capacity. And that's really the difference between the different sizes is capacity. Now that we're talking about capacity, we need to look at a number that you need to look for when buying these batteries, and that is the milliamp hour rating. So there will be a small number on the back of the battery, and it'll have a number in front of M, capital A, and H. That's what you want to look for and how you're going to compare the different capacities, because there are manufacturers out there that will try to sell you a big battery, but it only has the milliamp hours of a little battery. So you want to look at that. So once you choose a size, go ahead and look at the different options and compare the milliamp hour rating and go with the highest one depending on the cost. So even though these batteries are completely different in size, they have the exact same voltage and current. The only difference is capacity. And just to give you an idea of how much capacity these batteries have, if we compare them to the Sony FW50 batteries, which are used for the A63, 6500, A7 series cameras, we'll see that one of these little 550s will give us 2 times those smaller batteries, sometimes 3 or 4 times. And then larger batteries like this or the massive 990 will give you over 10 times the battery life of one of those little FW50 batteries. So pretty dang impressive. So what can you use these batteries for? Obviously you can put them on anything that has the jack or mount for these batteries, but you can also use them for really anything else. What you need to look for is the voltage requirements of your camera or whatever device you want to use. So a lot of cameras operate between 7.2 and 8.4 volts. And even though on the back of these batteries they say 7.2 or 7.4, when they're fully charged they give you 8.4 volts. So there's a little bit of confusion with that, but fully charged is 8.4, all the way dead is usually 7.2. So if your camera or light or audio device needs power between 7.2 and 7.4, these batteries will work. And that brings us to devices for these batteries. So if your light or whatever piece of gear you're using doesn't have a plate for Sony NP-F batteries, there are several great tools out there to get that to work for you. On the low end, there's around a $12 adapter that gives you the plate and a DC output to plug into really anything. Great for monitors and even cameras. Now, while that will work, I noticed that the LED light is always on and it doesn't have a low voltage protection. So if the battery gets too low, the battery can get kind of hot and you might run into some issues. So going with this unit, it's a little more expensive at $40, but it has a metal plate, much easier to mount, smaller profile, and it doesn't have those issues. So you could pick it up with different kind of camera dummy batteries. So you'd plug this dummy battery into your camera and you'd be able to add your Sony NP-F battery and you're good to go. The other thing I love about this one is on the side, there's an additional DC output, which means you could not only power your camera, but you could also power a monitor or something like that. There's also several other awesome accessories for these batteries, including a dual plate to your camera dummy battery. I reviewed one of those a long time ago, but you can still pick those up for around $85. A company called NP-F makes some really cool adapters where you can have a single battery, 2 batteries, lots of options from NP-F. You can even use 2 of these batteries to replace a V-mount battery. Those larger batteries operate at 14.4 volts usually. If you add 2 of these batteries together, guess what you get? 14.4 volts. There's even a battery out there that is a legitimate Sony NP-F battery, but it also has a USB jack and a DC output, letting you not only power whatever device you're using the battery with, but also some extra devices and even to charge your phone. Okay, so we've covered a lot of information, but what about the actual brands to go with? Obviously, there's the legitimate Sony models, but often most of the time, they're very expensive, and sometimes there's actually lower capacities than using third-party brands. So far, my favorite brand for these batteries is DSTE. You can pick up different sizes, different amounts of batteries, kits that include chargers, all kinds of great stuff on Amazon, I think eBay as well. I've been using that brand for years, have tons of their batteries, and really, really like them. As an example, you can get 2 of these NP-F 750 batteries with a charger for around $34, which is pretty great value. Another brand that I've worked with and really like is the Watson brand. I think they're owned by B&H. They have done a great job of great capacity, and I've had them for a long time and haven't really noticed any loss in voltage or charge. So that is Sony NP-F batteries. With different accessories, you could power your entire kit off of these things. Great capacity, great cost, and such versatile little batteries. So I hope you have enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have any questions below. I'll have links to all the stuff I talked about in this video down there. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.